Hi everyone, we are starting off this video with the setup screen, so you know what this means. It's gonna be another fully Auto Plus run, and as if all Auto Plus run, setup is key. So very quickly, there's not a lot of setup required. For Lulu, I removed both her speed passives. And finally for Minwu, if you have his FR weapon, unequip his FR skill because you do not want the AI to use that in battle. That's it. Once you do that, just toggle Auto Plus on and hit begin and come back in 10 minutes and the fight is over. Few things to note. First of all, I did invest force points on Lulu to get her to force level 30. That being said, on hindsight, I don't think you need Lulu to be a force level 30. Force level 10 may be sufficient, but the more force level 30 you have across your characters, the better. But I think looking back on this run, you could probably get away with Lulu at force level 10. So let me run you through this party and why this works especially well on this stage. Honestly, there's probably a lot of different combinations of characters that you can use in a full Auto Plus run on this stage because of the way that the mechanics work here, given that eventually the bosses will get many consecutive turns. So, counter or trap based teams will just mow the bosses down. However, I think this party combination should be fairly consistent. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, both Lulu and Rubicante are synergy units on this stage, so having both of them will allow you to start the battle with force level 30% or force gauge 30%, sorry. This means that in an Auto Plus run, you will likely hit force time much sooner. Lulu is not completely dead weight as well. Her main function here is the true fire enchant, meaning that with Lulu here, Minwu's traps are both holy and fire elemental, and therefore will also uptick Rubicante's force gauge bonus in Rubicante's force time. Coming to Minwu, Minwu is really good here because he's the main healer. Rubicante normally doesn't have any self-healing capabilities, so while he can auto-heal back to 50% health, this stage requires you to take less than 10,000 HP damage, and I actually tried removing all HP passives, but unfortunately even with that, you will still end up with 21,000 HP, which means that there is a chance that you might miss the HP requirement if you do not have any healing in your party. So with Minwu here, the HP loss isn't an issue any longer. Minwu himself, of course, is another great source of damage because he can continuously refresh his traps even when it is not his turn. So the bosses taking many turns in a row is not an issue for his traps. And because of Lulu's true fire enchant, his traps will also plus 5% Rubicante's force time, as I mentioned earlier. Lastly, Rubicante functions as the main tank as well as the main force driver. There will be no echoes used on this stage. Can't remember whether Rubicante actually used echoes. He might have, but both Lulu and Minwu of course doesn't have force echoes. So, and you really don't need it. You will very comfortably finish off this fight in one force time. Now, as you've seen in the setup, I only removed speed passives from Lulu, did not remove any from Minwu, did not remove any from Rubicante. Now, why is that? Firstly, for Minwu in a full Auto Plus run, the AI always starts the battle with PT Plus first before LD, and this means that you need Minwu to take 2 turns before the bosses get their second turn each, because each turn the boss gets the -2 turn the trap, and they only start off with 3 turn duration of Minwu's Holy Anchor. So after the boss's first turn, Minwu must use LD to refresh his traps, or else the Auto Plus run is over. I suppose you could remove Minwu's speed passives and just manually have him use LD at the start and then toggle Auto Plus on after that, but really my aim is to try to see how far I can get an Auto Plus run, and if I can get the full run 100% Auto Plus, definitely I will be trying to go for it. Assuming Minwu can get his second turn and use his LD to refresh his traps before they fall off, the rest of the fight is over. I don't think there's really anything that the bosses will do that will end your run even if you're in auto plus. All their attacks will be directed to Rubicante and he can't die, and after eating the attack, Minwu's traps will heal him back up to full. The only danger here is that if you end the fight with Rubicante taking a massive HP hit, in theory, and he finishes off the bosses with his counter before Minwu can heal, then you might miss the HP requirement there, but that's really a very low risk of happening. From what I can tell here, only Banishing Gaze Plus would be able to deal sufficient damage so that Rubicante HP will drop far below 50%. So if you did do Auto Plus here and for some reason if you did miss the HP requirement, that means that you actually got extremely unlucky. I don't think that it is likely to happen, but just theory crafting, it might be potentially possible that you take a big hit right before you kill off the boss, and right before Minwu's traps can trigger the healing. With regards to my party, it is fairly well built because everyone has 5/5 ultimate weapons. Now that being said, I don't think you need 5/5 ultimate weapons on everybody. Certainly you don't need one on Lulu. Her damage contribution overall is extremely low in this fight relative to Minwu and Rubicante. Even for the other two, I don't really think you need 5/5 ultimate weapons. Of course, I didn't test it without any ultimate weapons, so this is just an assumption that I'm making here, but it's based off the fact that with a 5/5 ultimate weapon, you win the fight with many turns of force time remaining, so in theory there's a lot of leeway for you even without ultimate weapons. And I guess in a worst case scenario, if you find you're lacking in damage, you can just toggle Auto Plus off when there's one turn of force time remaining and then pop Brother Summon for a free nuke at the end. And that should be enough to kill off the bosses. Already you can see here, I've already hit 69% mark on the bosses and I've actually just entered force time. So one third of the fight is over even before entering force time. From here on, it's really going to be a melting session. Rubicante's flames will really very quickly melt down the bosses. This fight is also ticket mission viable because as you can see, no friend unit is used. In terms of alternatives, I suppose you can swap Minwu out for another often damage dealer. Size can potentially work here as well since her traps last for 15 turns. Or you can use someone like Beatrix or Gao. Or maybe someone like Maria might work, but her traps only last for 10 turns though, and I don't know whether she'll be able to get another turn to refresh her traps before they fall off. Don't use a cover tank because here you want Rubicante to get hit so that you can get plus 40% on the force gauge bonus. Or I guess in theory you can just have a duo of Rubicante and Lulu, although maybe even a full auto plus can work with a Rubicante solo. Not entirely sure. The reason why I didn't try it on a solo run with Rubicante is that while in theory Rubicante himself can solo the stage, I don't know whether the Auto Plus will be able to charge his force gauge to 100% before his BT aura runs out, because if you remember in the Auto Plus run, BT Plus will always be used first. The AI doesn't have any idea on how to enter BT mode, so that option is locked out, and they can't spam his S2 to charge the force gauge meter. So I think a solo Rubicante you can't really auto plus, but otherwise you can just build a party around him like this, and the auto plus should work. Speaking of Rubicante solo, I do have another run on that, so if you want to see how Rubicante solos this stage, do check it out. It is a far more efficient run, and really even for that you don't really need a lot of manual input. Once his BT plus and FR is set up and the boss enters concentrate stance, the fight is really over. And that run takes about 6 to 7 minutes versus this run, which takes more like 10 to 11 minutes. This run is really longer just because Minwu's trap animation eats up a healthy chunk of time. But hey, you know, you could toggle Auto Plus, start the battle, and then, you know, take a shower, do the dishes, do some chores, do some work, whatever the case, watch some Netflix or something and chill, and really, you know, you can come back to a victory screen 10 minutes later. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, I hope the video has been helpful, and if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. Really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Shinryu fight. Bye!